Okay, today I have got something for you that I have not seen anybody talking about. I can't wait to share it. Have you ever been in a situation where you found the most perfect haircut and you thought, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do? And let's imagine that you're trying to do your hair at home. Maybe you're doing a home haircut. And you're like, but how do I even start? Like, how do I even know how this haircut was cut? Or maybe you found it, you took it into a stylist and you said, this is what I want, and you got done and you're like, what? What the, that doesn't look like the photo. Hey, you're not alone. And that's why I'm excited about today. I'm gonna share with you something that, if I'm honest, not even all stylists are taught how to do. I'm gonna explain how you can break down a haircut, how when you look at a photo, you can understand how to approach that cut so that if you are trying to do your hair at home, you'll know where to start. Or if you're taking it to a salon, to a stylist, you have a better understanding of how to explain what you like about that cut, and so that you and the stylist can be on the same page so you can get what you want. But before we do that, you're gonna wanna see what's behind you. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it kinda doesn't suck. Check it out. Okay, but before I actually show you what is behind you, let's dive into some value first. So this is how this is gonna work. There's gonna be a difference between doing or looking at short hair versus kind of breaking down medium and long hair. So I'm gonna break them both down for you. We'll start with medium to long. Basically, medium to long is anything longer than like a bob shape, okay? Chin length bob. Once you get into the shorter shapes like pixies, stuff like that, it's a little bit different. So I'm gonna explain both of them to you. So yeah, let's start with longer and medium shapes, and then we'll go from there. All right, okay, so the first thing you wanna think about is the perimeter. Now, when I mean perimeter, what I'm saying is the actual length. So not the stuff in the front, not the bangs, not the layers, nothing, just how far it comes down, right? If it's longer, how far does that length come down? If it's a bob, for instance, where on the neck does that hit? You wanna try to figure out the perimeter length. I know that sounds like it would be simple, but it's very important because it's going to play a huge role in how the overall cut works for you. Once you recognize the perimeter length, you then have to ask yourself, in your history, right, of all the stuff that you've gone through with your hair, this is where we're gonna take your knowledge and apply it to all of this so that you can make the best decision for yourself based on what you've experienced with your hair so far. If you can figure out what length it is, then you can determine, did that length, have I had a similar length to that before? Did it make sense? Did it work for me? If your hair is finer, hey, have I had that length before and maybe it looked a little too thin at the ends? So the first thing you wanna do is you wanna determine the perimeter length. Now, the next thing you want to figure out is the front layering. So basically, that's everything in front of the ear, okay, but not including the bangs. The bangs we're going to talk about as a separate thing all in themselves. So when you look at the front layers, you just want to determine, where does the shortest one start? And the reason this is important is because you're going to need to determine if that's going to make sense for you. Are they so short that you can't tuck them behind the ears? Do you work in a situation where you need to be able to pull it back into one ponytail all the time? Does it need to be long enough to get behind your ears and tuck behind your ears? You want to determine where that length starts so you can determine, based on your lifestyle and your hair and, again, previous history, what's going to make sense for you and if that's going to work for you. Let's dive into the bangs. Now, I've done a lot of videos on bangs. I did a whole series on them, so if you haven't seen that yet, I'll link that up here for you so you can check that out. Actually, I think it's over there. I don't know. It's at the top of the screen. Once you know that, take a look at them. Are there bangs? How short are the bangs? How thick are the bangs? Maybe you're looking at a photo that's got really thick bangs and you love the way it looks. But once you comb yours down, you realize that yours may not be able to be as thick as that photo due to your forehead, due to your hairline, due to your hair texture, etc., etc. Maybe if that's all you like about it, maybe we need to look at another option for you. Separate the bangs from the front layers, pay attention to them individually, and then address them individually. Now, determining how incredible this view is a little easier. That does not suck. But on to the next one. Okay, then the last thing that you want to break down when it comes to long hair or medium length hair are back layers. So that's layering everything behind the ears, all that what we call internal layering, okay? Now, I realize in some cases when you're talking about photos, it can be hard to see because sometimes they have their hair a lot of times it's face on, right? So you don't see what's going on in the back, or you just can't really tell what you're looking at. So in those scenarios, I would just try to find as many different angles or different photos of that haircut that you can find to help yourself determine. But you're gonna wanna try to figure out if you can get a back shot to get an idea of if there is layering there. Now, once you figured out if there's layering, yes or no, you wanna determine how short is the layering, meaning how short is the shortest layer? Is it long layers and you just see at the very bottom there's layers? Or is there a lot of layers? Is that top layer very short? But it's important to recognize whether or not it's layered, because that's gonna determine whether or not that shape is gonna function well for you. If your hair is the type that when it gets really long, it gets really heavy and you need a lot of layers, but the shape that you're looking at is not layered and you like it, maybe you like the fact that it's not layered. And then when you have your hair cut like that, it doesn't function well because it's not layered, and you want your hair layered because otherwise your hair doesn't work if it's not layered. Does that make sense? Okay, now in my online course where I teach my students how to do their hair at home, all of these different things are broken down into different cuts, right? We have a long layer video, we have a bang video, we have a one length video, we have a front layers video. Once you can break down those haircuts, you know how to approach doing those haircuts on yourself at home. But that's a big deal to be able to take to your stylist as well. Being able to explain to them, this is what I like about it. I like this length. I noticed that there's layers in the back, and I'm curious if layers are not gonna work for mine, or if they're gonna work for mine, or if these are too short, etc., etc. So that is how you break down haircuts for medium and longer hair. Okay, if I can sidestep here a little bit real quick. I know there's a lot of people right now that are actually doing their hair at home. Maybe you just wanna save a little bit of money. Maybe you wanna have the opportunity to not have to go to the salon if you don't want to. Maybe you can't go to the salon right now. You don't feel safe. Totally get it. So I put together a webinar so that you can avoid those home hair tragedies, where we go through all the biggest mistakes that people make when they do their color and cut at home and how to avoid them. We share a ton of insight, totally free. So if you want access to our next free webinar, make sure you go ahead and click the link in the description, and we'll make sure that we get you added to that. So yeah. Okay, so let me break down a photo for you so you can see this whole practice in action. Now, this is actually Pamela. Pamela is one of the students in my Hickox Home Hair Mastery course. So she actually did this haircut 100% all by herself on her own head. In fact, here's her before photo right here. And here again is the after photo. So she did an incredible job. I'm very proud of her. But let me break this down for you guys so you can see how I would approach this haircut. Now, first of all, we're gonna talk about the perimeter. Now, the perimeter, you can see that it goes into about her chin length. So that's the first thing that I want to pay attention to, is where that length is sitting. Next, we're going to walk into front layering. Are there any front layers? Yes, you can see right here that there are some layers in the front that connect into the bangs. Since we already know they connect into the bangs, then we know how short they start as well. It's layered lightly from the bangs all the way down to the length at the chin. Next, we move into bangs. They aren't super thick, but they are reasonably straight across, and they are relatively pronounced. Lastly, we want to look at the internal layering. They're long enough that they create a bit of a bevel in the back. So there's some layering from the bottom to the occipital bone that is creating that overall bevel. So I would approach it first at cutting the length. I would then cut bangs if that's what we decided to do. I would cut the layers in the front to connect into the bangs. Then I would layer it internally and bevel in the back layering to create that beveled shape. Okay, so let's talk about short hair. How do we go about approaching short hair? It's similar, but a little bit different. So first of all, we still want to look at the perimeter. Now, in this scenario, the perimeter doesn't mean the length. The perimeter means the literal perimeter around the hairline. What we're looking for is it really strong? Meaning, is it edged in? Or is it very soft? Is there a lot of softness? Is there some length around the perimeter? Is it cut up around the ear, or does it hang over the ear? That's very important, because obviously that's gonna play a huge role in the overall fullness in the sides and in the back, overall shape, and purely whether or not you're comfortable wearing it if it's too short. Then we want to move into the bang section. Now, this is really important, because when you start talking about short hair, the bangs, how they're cut, is going to play a huge role in the overall kind of look, if you will, the overall style of it, right? So you want to look at the bangs and say, are there bangs? Are they actually a soft bang, or are they really, really short? Is there some length? Are they coming off onto one side? Then the last thing we look at is the top layers. Now, you want to think about how short or how long is the top. Is the top super, super short, or is it long enough to get some balance? Is it maybe way longer than the rest of the hair? Maybe it overhangs the rest of the hair and looks kind of undercut. So First, again, you wanna look at the hairline, right? Is it soft or is it really edged in and strong? You wanna look at the bangs. Are they longer? Are they shorter? Are there bangs? Are they swept to the side? Are they swept down into the face? And then from there, you wanna move into the top length. Very important to determine how long that is or how short it is and how it's reacting. Okay, so now what I need you to do is watch one of these 2 videos right there. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you can get notified every Tuesday when I bring out a brand new video. And make sure that if you want to learn about how to cut your hair at home or how to color your hair at home, more importantly, how to avoid home hair tragedies, you're gonna wanna make sure that you click on that link below and get ready for that free webinar. Otherwise, you have a fantastic day. Enjoy your week. We'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.